YouTube, it is your girl Kev, and today I'm going to be doing a video on things to know about losing your virginity or when I lost my virginity. Okay, so I'm 19 years old and I lost my virginity when I was young, and I'm just going to run down some things that you need to know before you do the nasty. The first thing is, a lot of times in this generation or whatever, let's just be honest here, people have sex young, okay? Because if you pay attention to the world, most of the women that get pregnant are high school kids or whatever. So at a young age, teenagers and stuff, even children, they be having sex. So the thing to know about it is, the first thing is you have to know who you're dealing with when you do decide you want to lose your V card. Because sometimes when boys are young or something like that, in high school or even middle school, sometimes they can expose you. Sometimes, especially if you're not their girlfriend or whatever, y'all just, y'all don't know each other, whatever. There's some females out there that's like that. So it's like, when you that type of female, you have to deal with the guy that's gonna respect you. Because if you deal with the guy that kind of like don't have any respect for you or something like that, then most likely they're gonna expose you. And then since y'all in school, they're gonna take whatever y'all was doing outside of school to school, okay? So you don't really want to go to school and then everybody looking at you sideways and they know your business. So that's the number one thing. Know who you gonna lose your V card with. Very important. That is very important. And then the second thing is, if you're gonna lose your V card or whatever, always use protection. Always, 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 always. I cannot preach that enough. I don't care if you're in a relationship or not, because if you a teenager, especially, because adults, they should know this anyway, you should know that STDs and stuff like that, they're at a high rate. So you should not be just out here doing these guys. I don't even care if y'all in a relationship or not, because y'all not in a marriage, which means that y'all only dealing with each other temporarily. A relationship is not permanent. It's not a commitment. It's just you in love with the person. Y'all in a relationship. Y'all not in something that, y'all agreed to, what they say, how they say that thing where they be like, to death do y'all part. Y'all not like that yet. Y'all just in a relationship. So you still need to kind of like wear protection with your boyfriend, however, whichever, no matter how long you've been dealing with them. Because when you get pregnant, okay, you're already having sex in high school. So it's like, you get pregnant in high school, right? Let's just say you decide you're not going to keep the child. You got to pay for an abortion, or you will still have to have the child, and then you will have to put it up for adoption. Or you do decide you keep the baby, and then you gotta walk around school with a big belly or possibly drop out, which is what a lot of girls do. So it's like, to avoid all that, wear a condom. And then with STDs or whatever, let's just say you don't get pregnant, but you get an STD or something like that. That's even worse, because when you get certain STDs or something like that, they cost money, okay? Just because you have insurance, don't get it twisted. Medicine still costs money, okay? It's different if you get an infection like something like chlamydia or yeast infection, something like that. You ain't finna be at the doctor back to back to back to back to back. They cure it, it's over with. But then when you start getting into the diseases part of the sex part, then it's like, okay, I never had HIV, AIDS, or herpes, but I'm sure that since they're uncurable, you're gonna always have to keep going to the doctor, or you're gonna have to keep going to go see somebody. But you will have to pay though. That's the thing. So it's not gonna be cheap, because like I said, I never had it, so it's like, I don't know how much the medicine would cost, but I know that aside from the medicine, the doctor visits, you're gonna have to pay for that. Everyone pretty much have a copay, or most people have a copay. So my copay is like $30 or $35, and I got Blue Cross Blue Shield. So it's like, every time I go to the doctor, I have to pay $35. So imagine if you got something like STD, like a disease, not an infection, and then every time you go to the doctor, you spending $30 every visit. Do you know what you could be doing with $30 instead of spending it on a doctor visit? And then that's not including the medicine, because the copay and the medicine, those are like individual prices. You know what I'm saying? They're different prices. They're not just one. You don't go to the doctor, you get them that $35, and that's you could add that to the medicine too. No, it's not like that. So that's the second thing. Wear a condom. The third thing is that most people probably already know is when you do, you know, get your little freak on or whatever, it hurts. Okay, the women, we have this thing, I call it a cherry, you know, just to be on the safe side. Because, you know, when I make YouTube videos, which that's why I stopped and then I came back to do it, I have people that watch my YouTube videos and they don't want me cursing and they don't want me using certain words. So that's why I'm trying to keep it as clean as possible, because I don't want to hear my mom's mouth. So that's why I'm using certain words, okay? But then when I get grown or whatever, like 20 something, I'm gonna talk like how I really want to talk. I don't care what they talking about. But the women inside their vagina, they got a cherry, which y'all know what I'm talking about. A cherry. We're gonna call it a cherry. So when a guy inserts his pickle into her punani, okay, it's something that he hit, and it's called the cherry, and that's what make the girl bleed, okay? The pain is basically rated on whether he's big or small. The bigger he is, the more painful it's going to be. The smaller he is, the less painful it's going to be, okay? So when you first do it, it's going to hurt. Some people can tolerate pain, some people can't. Some women, they probably be like, as soon as you put it in there, they crying. So it's a little painful, okay? It's nothing that you can't manage, because think about it. Women can have a 10-pound baby. So it's not like it's nothing that you can't manage. You're not going to die. But at the same time, you feel it. I just want you to know, you feel it, okay? The next thing I was going to say is when you're losing your V card is it's good to be turned on. Then depending on what age you are having intercourse, you would know what that means. But basically being turned on is meaning that your lady parts down there, she gets excited and she get the terminology what most people use is wet, or she get her vagina get moisturized, or she get very, like, Aquafina. She be having some Aquafina going down there. It's best to be like that before you try to do it, because that make it a little smoother. It make it feel a little better, instead of you trying to have intercourse with the guy and then you're not turned on, you're not into it. It's gonna hurt more. Okay, so that's a good tip. Like, because some people, when they have intercourse or whatever, they're not really feeling it. So it's like they be dry. And then when it's dry or whatever, it's kind of like, I forgot what they call it. It's kind of like friction. It creates a lot of friction, especially if y'all don't have on any rubber. That's another reason why you should wear the rubber. You should wear the rubber because of friction too. Because if you're having like raw intercourse, sometimes if she's dry and then he's not really getting no moisture from her, then it starts to hurt his end, and then possibly you. It'll start to kind of like, it won't burn, but it won't feel good. It just will feel awkward. So it's best to be turned on before you do it, okay? And my next tip will probably be the position that you decide to do. Certain positions play a major role when you're losing your V card. A lot of people do, the typical positions or whatever. But when you're losing your virginity, it's certain things the girl should do. You know what I'm saying? Because she's new. I feel like, this is my opinion, I feel like she should get on top, or she should be in control. You know what I'm saying? Now, once she lose her V card or whatever, the guy can take control. But sometimes men, they don't necessarily feel what we feel. So it's like they don't be necessarily knowing if they're hurting you or not. Some of them do, some of them don't. So it's like they might just jet in there. Like after they go, they'll go in there slow the first time, but then after that first time, they just jetting like it ain't. No, because when guys get excited, they go faster. Okay, it'll be different if a girl is in control and she's the virgin, and then she get comfortable because she's not just gonna just on herself like that, you know. So the positioning to me, first, if you like losing your V card, I feel like you should be in control, females. Just my opinion. Or if you are sucker for pain, or you like, you know, rough stuff, then yeah, you can let the guy do it from the back or missionary style, but I won't recommend it because then you're gonna be looking stupid. What else I was going to say about losing your V card? Resting. Like when you get finished, you need to let your lady parts breathe. And then the next tip is, as soon as y'all get finished having intercourse, you need to make sure that you go and urinate. A lot of women don't do it, but you need to make sure you urinate, get all that out, and then you also need to take a shower. I don't know why I feel like I be having to tell people this, but it don't matter if it was a quickie, it don't matter if it was just hours, minutes, it doesn't matter. When you get finished having intercourse with someone, you're supposed to always take a shower. Okay? The only way I'm gonna be lenient with that is if you drunk or you messed up bad, you drunk some lean or you just out of it. Then I'll be okay then, because you're not really in your right state of mind and you just passed out, and you probably was passed out when y'all was having intercourse. That's different. But if you in your right mind or whatever, you don't have nothing in your system, you should automatically take a shower. And if you don't want to get in the shower by yourself, you and your guy can get in the shower together. But you need to take a shower, okay? Because that's how bacteria build up, regardless of if you're wearing a condom or not. Because I know some people say that you don't have to take a shower if you wear a condom. No, yeah, both. And it's even more important when you don't wear a condom, only because that's how bacteria and infections get up in there, because you letting all that stuff just sit, and then it just create, because you know our vaginas already have a certain bacteria. We got good bacteria, we got bad bacteria. But then when you add someone else's bacteria to your stuff, a lot of time your body is not going to really agree to it or not like it, and then infections come about. When I'm saying infections, not stuff like HIV and AIDS, those are diseases. I'm saying infections like yeast infections and stuff like that. For example, yeast infections. You don't necessarily have to have intercourse to get a yeast infection. You don't. The yeast infection, sometimes you could get that on your own. I know plenty of females that got yeast infections and they never had sex before, ever. So that's what I'm saying. We already have our own bacteria. So then when you go and have intercourse with someone, then that leads to more bacteria, but not necessarily good bacteria. It'd be bad bacteria. And then it create these yeast infections and it create all this stuff. And you don't want it. Trust me, believe me.